But what I hear from in my DMs and on my Instagram is women want to be married. Men want to have a wife to love and care for and protect and provide for. If they didn't, no one would care about my page. No one would care about what I'm doing with my loving husband of 33 years and my 11 children.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
We who are happily married don't mind if you're not interested in going through this huge self-improvement project called marriage and parenthood.
Yeah.
If you're not on that train, okay, that's up to you. I don't know. Am I pick me because I'm a happily married woman? And
actually, yes, you are.
Yes. Okay. And I'm coping in the abuse I do every day because I don't want to be alone. Okay. First of all, like, I don't do this. I'm not a pick me for money. I'm a practicing attorney. I could go make my own money any day. I make my own money now. It's his money. My money is our money at this point.
Yeah.
This is not because I can't do anything else with my life. This is because in the long term, I am convicted that a man and a woman together working through a marriage is the best self-improvement project in the world and does the most for the family unit and society. Mm-hmm. I'm convicted of that the more and more women like that talk, the more and more convicted that I am that I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, I have 11 children. Actually, one is up in heaven. He died young. One of the children we adopted had a severe disability and died when he was 2.5. So I have 10 children on the face of the earth. And it's right now, the way the world works, 5 people have to be working to support one retired person for the government benefits that they get. Wow. When they're, when you're talking Medicare, you're talking Social Security. Yeah, because they didn't put this money you and I put in 30 years ago in a fund and left it there. They're cash flowing this.
Yep.
And there's no money. So it takes 5 working people to support one old retired person.
Wow.
Well, let's see. I've got 10 kids. That's 5 for me, 5 for my husband. Where's that woman getting her 5? How's she going to do this when she's 70 years old?
I don't know.
I don't think the cat's going to be paying for her. So somehow she's expecting people to be having babies who are 30 years younger than her paying for her benefits when she retires. So that's just practicality number 2. It's, that's it. Number 3. I've seen some very sad marriages. And I've seen some very happy marriages.
Yes.
And, there might be some women who want to stay, and they shouldn't be made to feel bad for wanting to stay. It is a good thing to want to take your vows seriously before God and the government. And it is a good thing to want to try to live as best you can and to bring that person who you promise to love and honor, to bring them up with you instead of dropping them at their lowest point when they're not doing well, whether they're mired in alcoholism or another addiction or anything else. It's a beautiful sacrificial thing that somehow used to be honored and now has been turned into, why are you throwing away your life? You should get rid of this loser. And I've told part of the story before. My husband had a very abusive father, and his mom made the decision to stay, did the best she could with the 3 kids. She lived in quiet dignity. She loved him in a respectful way and called him to be better. He had some real demons. He was a veteran before kind of we knew what PTSD did to people, right? But she knew. She would tell me all the time, I knew this wasn't him. This wasn't him that when he was beating them, when he was drinking away the paycheck and she had no money for the month and had to send the kids over to the neighbors. Yeah. She said, I this wasn't him. And I'm going to do what I can to get him back. And then he got cancer when he was 80 and she nursed him through it. And she told him on his deathbed, literally the day he died, John, I forgive you. I forgive you for everything. I wish it had been different. but I'm going to forgive you for me, and so that you can be at peace. And he died later that day. And if that just wasn't just the most sterling example of love and devotion from a woman who had every reason to chuck out of there and go. And you know what she got from it? She got 3 sons who were devoted to her because they knew how hard she worked.
Wow.
To keep them safe and do the best. Devotion from the 2 daughter-in-laws of the 2 sons she married. I took care of my mother-in-law in my own home while she was on hospice for the last year until she died, because she was owed that for what she did and that sacrifice she made. I want to see who's taking care of that woman when she's 90.
Man, wow. That is such a moving story. A lot to think about, and it's interesting you make that point, how you're saying there used to be a time where sacrificing for a particular person and long suffering for the person, that was seen as it was admired.
Yes.
And now it's almost reverse, right? Where it's like self first. And I do understand, like I myself am in Al-Anon program 12 step, which is friends or family of alcoholics. So I really understand the dynamics of that, and trying to set healthy boundaries, and so that person is protected and you are protected is important in those dynamics. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you just are gonna you're going to leave somebody when they're in their sickness, or you're going to leave a loved one when they're weak. And I think you make a really, really great point, where now it's just like, as soon as it gets tough for somebody, or as soon as someone you say you love is going through a hard time, now it's putting yourself first, and that means that you can just leave whenever.
That's right.
And I think that it's almost like there's a different I don't know if it's a different caliber of woman, but certainly yes, I think that does exist. And I don't know if that's a training thing. I don't know if that's if it's self-entitlement, if it's both. But that story that you heard, I think it's beautiful. But yeah, your average person, I don't want to say your average person, but a lot of modern women today would say, Pickme, would say that she was, settling for less, that she shouldn't have done any of that kind of different stuff. But that's what the life she chose to live, and I'm sure she reaped a lot of inner peace from it.
She did. She was joyful, and had this peace and serenity level about her, literally till days before she died, and made all the people around her better because of that. That was what she could do. She had my husband and I got married very young, and had no money, right? She didn't have any money to help us. But what she did when we were both in law school was she invited us over on Sunday, so we could, she would do my laundry.
Aww.
So I could sit and study, and she'd be making dinner, and my husband would watch the ball game. And she did the little things she did that didn't really cost money, but gave us a level of support. She gave of herself. My children will talk to you that grandma always wanted to hear what they were doing, wanted to listen to what their concerns were.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective than a narcissist who's only caring about themselves. They only care about that other person with relation to what that other person can give them. Yeah. My mother-in-law was a totally generous, giving soul. And whenever I get in that kind of grasping point, because we all pain is not nice. I don't like pain. I don't want to deal with hardship, but I can look back at that and go, wow, what an example. How can I kind of channel that attitude to make the best of the situation, make my children feel loved no matter. We have 10 kids, and while we have a very nice middle-class life, I also can't give them things that my friends that have 2.2 children can.
Yeah.
And I don't work full-time as an attorney making 6 figures. I work a little bit here and there for friends and family around the needs of my children and my husband. And it pays for travel, cheer, and volleyball. But we don't have a summer home, and, going down to the islands for our vacations. Yeah. I live in a pretty affluent area, and I would say the majority of people have those things and do those things.
Yeah.
But that to us, we made that decision. We're okay with it. And I want to put that is how we've chosen to live.
and we're happy about it. This is why we're happy about it, because we can develop these things in our personality and in our children's character. And I hope I'm contributing good people to the world. That's what I hope. She might be happy herself. I'm sure she lives in more peace than I do. I'm sure her house is way more quiet and more clean than mine. And I'm glad that's okay for her. But who's going to contribute good people to the world? Not her, apparently, if she's going to be single and not have children and not have a spouse that can also contribute to the world. This is what we've got to look at. We have to look beyond ourselves. But here's the kicker. She'll never feel that whisper in her ear like I did this morning. That's my reward.
Yeah.
She won't get that. I might not get the quiet and the vacation and that. I get that reward. And she can call me a Pickme and I'm coping all she wants, but that makes me beyond happy every day at the age of 55.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she 55? Let's see if she says the same thing at 55 or 65 or 75 when, she doesn't have anyone visiting her in that nursing facility that we don't know how it's going to get paid for because there's not enough people around working to pay for it.
Yep. That's a whole